Morning, everybody. Nice to see you joined to our Pan Baltic TVG webinar. This time we will talk about Azure, and I will be presenting about Azure security. And my colleague from Estonia, Roman, will be talking about GPU heavy workloads and using Azure for those workloads. So, talking about Azure security, I chose, let's say, while preparing for this webinar, I chose this slide deck, which is about Azure Security Center and Azure Defender. Actually, there are more security-related services on Azure which can be used in Azure only, or it can be used as hybrid solutions. But I thought that this slide deck actually mentions all those services, and today we will be mostly focusing about Azure Security Center, Azure Defender, and some related services that can be useful for you. So, what is Azure Security Center, and quite new name as for me, Azure Defender. By the way, any of you, have you used those services? You can just react yes, no. Okay, so what are current today's security challenges? First of all, we need to talk about time to respond. Let's say, do we have appropriate tools to respond to any threats on timely matter? And actual practice and actual experience says that sometimes those threats are being not identified even for a couple of years, and only after that time some security I don't know, incident takes place, but after the investigation, let's say those investigators get information that this hack or issue was there for already a couple of years, and those bad guys were doing what they were willing to do for quite a long time. And even if we know about this threat, it's really important to get as much needed information as possible in a quite short time, just to make right decisions how to react and how to resolve those issues. So, related topic about visibility and compliance. It's really hard to identify possible threats, risks without good visibility into our systems, and without monitoring it, and without proper tools. And talking about compliance, it's not only just putting check marks that we comply to one or another requirement and that's it. Actually, those, according to my experience, most of those compliance regulations are based on actual situations, and uh, and sorry, somebody is unmuted. Um, so and those compliance regulations are based on real situations, and those are just created as good practices to protect your systems. And last but not least, is the actual situation that the number of attacks and sophistication of those attacks is increasing every day. And especially today, we see that when everything went online, or at least most of the stuff went online, we see bigger numbers of those attacks, and it's new challenge for IT guys to handle everything and secure it. So about Microsoft, maybe I'll be short over here, but I can just say that Microsoft for already some time is heavily investing in IT security field. And previously, before joining TVG, I was working in security field, but not with Microsoft. And Microsoft was at that time as an entry player, let's say, stating that it has some solutions, but those solutions were lacking quite a lot of features comparing to market leaders. And just, I guess, last week or 2 weeks ago, I saw a new Gartner report on endpoint protection solutions, and it was shared by my friend from security vendor, um, who was really happy that his represented vendor went into leaders quadrant. And the most interesting thing that Microsoft left many other known vendors in this Gartner Magic Quadrant far behind, and competing only with one vendor according to Gartner. So if we look at the same Gartner, I don't know, 4 or 5, even more years ago, Microsoft wasn't competitor in this market. So really huge progress over here, and each and every day we hear about new security solutions from Microsoft, new ideas, new implementations, and so on. So I would suggest to consider Microsoft as a really strong player in the security field for today. Okay, so how actually the how it's called in this slide, the cloud kill chain model works. First of all, it's the exposure stage. Some bad guys try to find insecurely configured application vulnerability, maybe some affected admin credentials, maybe, yeah. So some attacks and so on. So then they try to utilize what they discovered to access some our systems. It can be virtual machines, web apps, stolen credentials, the same good old brute force attacks or vulnerabilities in IoT devices. And then they do some movements, activities in our systems, and it comes to actions when we get data loss or data exfiltrations. At least in Lithuania, not so long time ago, we had quite a huge data leak from one service provider, which is quite popular, I guess, also in Latvia, about car sharing, and 100,000s of personal user data records were on the web, and anyone could access this data. And yeah, it was quite unpleasant situation, and passwords were weakly encrypted, and yeah, it was quite huge one. So yeah, actually this breach looks this way if we put it as a schematic view. And what Microsoft is offering to secure it. Currently, Microsoft offered Azure Security Center and integrated Azure Defender into it. How, let's say, how those features differ and how they complement each other. First of all, let's talk about Azure Security Center itself, which is there for quite a long time. And what does it actually offer? First of all, we see the overall view, and just worth mentioning that basic functionality of Azure Security Center is completely free. So if you still haven't tried it, feel free, and I will really encourage you to do so. And what do you get by just activating and starting to use Azure Security Center. First of all, you get the security score capability. Let's say you just can go to security score utilization and get recommendations what you need to do to improve your systems. Let's say it can be VMs, web apps, and so on, how to improve the security. Then I guess I will later open a web page where it's explained in more details what capabilities are free and which part is already paid. And also most important to see the total inventory as asset management, what systems do we have and what's the status for those systems. So it's those basic features are completely free, and what's I guess will be mentioned later, not in the slide, but one of the most important parts that, as you see in this dashboard, you can connect AVS, Google Cloud, but also you can connect your on-prem machines using Azure Arc. So you can monitor all your machines. Doesn't matter if those are on Azure or on other clouds or in your local data center. So what does it cover as categories? It can cover the security score. It can cover access, security, computing part, SQL, network, and applications. And also compliance part, you can just choose which compliance regulations you want to meet, and according to those regulations you will see your status and recommendations what's needed to do to fix and to meet this compliance. So I will just by the way, what's most important, it's in most cases, it's not only about seeing and knowing, but about getting notified and doing actions on a timely matter. So it's possible to integrate Azure Security Center using logic apps and other tools with let's say just get notified if your system has critical vulnerability or anything else, and yeah, you can just set up automation according to your needs. Yeah, already mentioned about multi-cloud support, and what's also interesting, what was interesting for me to discover that it currently covers, it's about Azure Arc. So with Azure Arc, we can connect systems which are not in Azure. It's service to, let's say, to deploy agent on your servers and to see, monitor, and manage those resources on from Azure. Azure Arc comes as a separate service, and you can utilize this not only for security but also for management needs. Later, I will jump into Azure portals and show you, let's say, pricing and other stuff. By the way, now I will ask for your reactions. Do you know a service called Azure Lighthouse? I see no reactions. Nobody is using it, or just lack of reactions. Okay, I will shortly, briefly say about it. So Azure Lighthouse is a service for the partners that you can connect all your customers into one place and just access those customers from just one console and have them in place, and let's say have one dashboard to monitor and manage all your customers. And it's actually using some of the Azure Arc services to achieve that for systems that are not on Azure. Okay, so let's proceed. So actually how it looks, if we have services on Azure, those services can be just connected to Azure Security Center just by one click. If those are not on Azure, we can connect them using Azure Arc and have it everything in one place. So what we just basically get with Azure Security Center is security score, asset management, and regulatory compliance. And those features also, as with additional services, we can achieve automation. We can do CM integration like Azure Sentinel, and we can export all the data. Those features are covered with Azure Defender, which I will tell about just in a moment. Yeah, so the moment has came. So talking about Azure Defender, it currently offers protection for servers, for cloud native workloads as app services. I don't remember exactly, need to check, but like functions, database, storage, service layers, Kubernetes, and so on. So let's say those situations which happen quite often when, let's say, some web pages get, let's say, hacked, just with the main idea to infect them, place malicious code, and especially if the website is quite popular, quite a lot of visitors get infected, and it's not a very pleasant situation. And by the way, if the site web gets infected, it's being blocked by search engines as Google and so on. So it's quite important to protect your assets, protect your websites from threats, and make sure that in code or in your Kubernetes, in your web apps, or in do you hear me? I was informed that I disappeared for a moment. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about, I'm not sure for how long I disappeared. So shortly, briefly, it's important to protect your, especially public-facing websites from the threats, because it can have quite big impact also for company reputation. For company reputation, if some websites or anything else will be infected, and also the, let's say, most, let's say, traditional least protected devices are the IoT devices, different sensors, and so on. And with fileless attacks, those can be also impacted, and they can grant access to other systems and make bigger impact. So it's quite important to protect all the layers, all the systems, and so on. And actually, there is difference between Microsoft Defender and Azure Defender. Currently, I'm quite confused about Microsoft's naming, as always. I guess in Windows endpoints, regular antivirus, anti-malware solution currently is called Windows Defender. And Microsoft Defender was previously called the ATP one. meaning advanced threat protection. So it does much more than a regular anti-malware solution. It analyzes the code. It can offer you rollback actions, and it also detects anomalies. Let's say when something not typical happens on the system, and all the activities are being recorded and then later can be analyzed how the attack went through and so on. So it offers much bigger protection than comparing just to regular anti-malware. And there is Azure Defender, which is not towards endpoints and let's say every day our system like emails and so on, but it's more towards servers and such stuff. And I already mentioned about Azure Sentinel, that all the logs, all the events, what happened, what was wrong, and so on, can be collected in Azure Log Analytics or Azure Sentinel. And then we have over there, we can have general view what is happening in our organization. And to Sentinel, we can also connect different systems which are not covered by those two services, like we can connect firewalls, routers, even switches, and other systems which are not covered by anti-malware solutions. And we can collect this log data from different sources and then have general view what's happening in our environment. So full list of services which are being currently protected by Azure Defender, and I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I was really excited to get the news. Yeah, here we see just Azure Defender dashboard. When we see incidents, high severity, medium, low severity, and then we can dig in and do investigation and fix it. But not that one. Also, it's important that currently it supports not only Windows servers but also Linux servers, and it helps actually detecting open ports and other vulnerabilities which can be used, let's say, to attack our assets. Yes, that's the slide that I wanted to stress out. Currently, in Windows Defender, we have a vulnerability scanner. So it scans and detects which known vulnerabilities are there in our environment. And after that, we can fix those and reduce attack surface and so on. The most interesting thing over here is sorry, is this part. Currently, Microsoft, together with Qualys, implemented this functionality. So the actual vulnerability database is provided by Qualys, and you just can have everything in one place and have quite good view and quite good functionality without huge initial investment into different security systems. Okay, so I guess I see that I'm quite out of time because my colleague also has what to say. So I will skip some details, but what I wanted to show is the about pricing and comparison, what's paid, what's not, and so on. So we will share all this information, and you will be able to go through slide deck yourself, just to see the dashboards and so on. Okay, now I'm sharing my screen. I hope you see it. So talking about first of all Azure Defender pricing. Talking about Azure Defender pricing. So first of all, it's Azure Security Center free tier, which offers continuous assessments and security recommendations and Azure Security Score. And this one is completely free. And if we talk about Azure Defender, which offers much bigger functionality, endpoint detection and response, and other threat protection capabilities. Also, it's important you can configure just-in-time access. So let's say if you want to control who connects and when connects to your system, you can do this using Azure Defender, meaning that you can schedule that during the working hours, let's say from 9 to 5, I don't know, some set of IPs is able to connect. All the others or out of time range, they will not be able to connect. So most probably, let's say if I'm, let's say at home, out of working hours and not planning to do any maintenance to servers, it would be clever to close all the management ports. And if it will be needed, I can just enable it for myself or my colleagues from the Azure portal, from the Security Center dashboard. And here is the pricing. I will just show how it looks monthly. So it's 12 euros per server, and included 500 megabytes of data logs per day, and similar pricing for app service, for SQL, and even less price for SQL outside of Azure. Also Kubernetes, Key Vault, and so on. So you can just go to Azure Defender description on the Microsoft website and see all this information by yourself. Other thing that I wanted to say, the Azure Arc services. So you can connect other clouds, edge devices, meaning IoT, your on-premises systems using Arc. And what's price for that? We can just go here. And the price goes something like 5 euros per month per server. Okay. So maybe you have any more questions? If you will want to do any calculations how much those security features will cost you, you can just go over here to Azure pricing calculator, take the same Azure Defender, put all the servers over here, and have at least approximate pricing how much it will cost. And you can contact me or my colleagues what will be your as partner pricing. One more thing that I would like to recommend you to dig in a bit. So Azure Lighthouse service, I will put link in the chat. And this service actually it's free for partners. You just pay for traffic for the logs, but service itself it's free, and it's really quite good to manage your customers and have everything in one place. Just it will save your time. Okay, so more or less that's it from my side for today. If you would like to get more information, just get in touch with me. I will be really happy to have a deeper discussion about Azure security features. Just main message over here that those security features, as most of Azure services are not only cloud services, but in most cases you can also connect your on-prem resources and have all the management, log analytics, also security, identity, and many other stuff by using cloud, but also covering on-premise part. Okay, so any questions? If not, then I will pass the floor to my colleague Roman, who will talk about GPU loads on Azure.
Well, thank you, Andrius, and hello from Estonia. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Great. So let's talk about different things. Thanks for this nice presentation, Andrius. I'm very happy to know more things, and I call action from the partners to ask about this service, security service, and start consuming, using, and testing it. It's very important for you to know. So let's continue to other stuff, fun stuff. I'm sharing now my screen. For now, my name is Roman. I'm from Estonia, and we'll be talking about modern GPUs, what it is, and how to use it. Here are my contacts. If you need to ask something after this presentation, please write down, send me email, ask me what to do, how to set up, how to consume. I will answer gladly your questions. So let's continue. So why there is such a thing? Why do we talk about this GPUs when there is CPUs? Why to use cloud GPU when we have mighty PCs with good video cards? Conventional CPUs can no longer cope with increased demand for computing power. So GPU processors exceed the data processing speed of conventional CPUs by 100 or 200 times. AI, artificial intelligence, and data science are changing the world. Find out about leading companies that have gained competitive edge with technology. So, little small off topic. So I wanted to give some attention to the schools and universities around Baltics in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So we have kids, and we need to think about the future of the kids. So there are interesting stuff to learn. There is data science, analytics, there is IT, machine learning, and all that stuff is tied with this theme, what I'm talking about GPUs, about cloud consumption, about cloud security that talked Andrews. So if your kid is finalizing his school and he's thinking about where to go, so it's time to move on, to choose between those. And Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, please check those websites. And there are people already moving out of those universities around the world and offering those data science and GPU utilizing services that is needed. So where to use such cloud services, where we can consume it? In retail, so shops, malls, cafes, retail chains, their demand is growing. There is a Accenture report that estimates that AI has the potential to create 2.2 trillion worth of value for retailers in 2035 by boosting growth and profitability. So thus it means for us that we need to do some action. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to study how to utilize those Azure cloud GPU machines, how to make them work correctly, how to make money from that. So massive digital transformation is going, and industry can increase business value by using AI to improve asset protection, deliver and store analytics, and streamline operations, intelligent stores that can leverage GPU-powered intelligence video analytics. So everything is already working. AI-Fi company is currently pilot testing, and I think that this nano store that they are utilizing already running. They already offer this solution, and we can check it just visiting the web page of AI-Fi. So check this promotional video. The person enters the shop, scans mobile phone, goes to the store stuff, puts something in the bag, and just leaves the shop. So everything is automated. Everything is moving. In our COVID time, it's very important to have such shop, such retail possibility. So this is one point where you can check with your end customers, with retail shops, with malls, and start talking about this. If you need our help, please just make a contact with us, and we will help to introduce and sell this idea to those retailers. So another one is TraxPoint is also using artificial intelligence card and trained on NVIDIA DXG station, and they are able to perform real-time video analytics and using DeepStream SDK on NVIDIA in Azure to recognize 100,000 products in under 1 second. So customers simply need to place the product in their carts. ASA also delivers personalized offers from suppliers in real time, helps customers navigate in supermarket with ease, and accepts automatic digital payments. So this is TraxPoint, it's already working. And of course, Walmart is using such service, and they are demanding the prediction of 500 million items by store combination every week. So they need to know what stuff to sell, what customer is consuming, what we need to order to our stores. So all this is done by NVIDIA GPUs in Azure using AI. So this is the point to talk with the retailers. What else? So also the car traffic analytics prediction, smart town, airport, concerts, public events, everywhere you need such solution. Telecommunications, AI is opening up new waves of communication in the telecommunication industry. So by tapping into power of GPUs and 5G networks, smart services can be brought to the edge, simplifying deploying and enabling them to reach their full potential. So this means that companies or those organizers who are planning to do some concerts or some public events, to do some things that we are waiting because we seated at home and nothing happened. So they need such solutions. They need to understand how much people in one place, how many, which is distance between one person and the second person, why persons are moving there and that is done by analytics. It's done by these AI machines placed in Azure GPU. Else, healthcare and life sciences is demanding new computing paradigms, and to meet the need of the personalized medicine, next generation clinics enchanted quality of care and breakthroughs in biomedical research. So to research and to treat disease. With Azure GPU, healthcare institutions can harness the power of artificial intelligence and high performance computing. So this means that people working in healthcare, they are utilizing and using high powered machines to calculate, to visualize, to do 3D modeling using Azure GPU machines. So that's the case to offer for the healthcare to the government such possibility. You can use GPU, you can set up it, and you can sell it to this organization. And already research organizations are using NVIDIA scientific computing platform in the fight against COVID. So ChestCT AI models already detecting this disease, and with smart cameras to conduct temperature screenings. This stuff is already working. And last but not least is graphical stations. So if your customer is working in 3D, architects, CAD, GIS, AI, games, even players, and they are using such product as Adobe, Corel, Autodesk, you can upsell easily those stuff with Azure Cloud. You can just utilize graphic station, put the needed amount of GPU inside this machine, or maybe you can utilize lots of machines and set up this solution for the customer and offer as pay as you go. So the customer paying to you each month some sum and using this to make his project run, to render those 3D models, to create games, to check how 3D models fits in this plan, and everything is done in the cloud. So the customer needs only internet connection and good monitor and just easiest, cheapest PC or laptop at his place. So everything is done in the cloud. Rendering, architecting, calculations, machine learning, everything in the cloud. So we can also use as cloud VDI, cloud-based design, and streaming and gaming. Azure Spot. Azure Spot machines are in place created by Microsoft to pay less for such consumption. So if a customer needs to do something and it is not like from the morning to the evening, it's a quick calculation, quick rendering, quick utilizing of GPU machine, we can use Azure Spot and pay less, pay a small amount of the money for this consumption, and it is automatically disabled after our consumption. After everything is done, it is utilized only for this time I'm using this calculation or this rendering. So take your time, read about Azure Spot, read about Azure GPU from Microsoft page, and let me know if you want to use such a solution. I can help you to deploy, I can help you to set up, or you can ask Andrius or Sandis in Latvia about such services. So we have some time. I will show a small demo at this moment. If you have questions, please write in the chat. We will answer those in the minutes. So one thing is I'm using machine in the cloud that is utilizing GPU. So what I'm done, I'm like standard basic user of Azure, and I deployed a GPU machine utilizing Tesla M60 GPU. And I set some apps and some testing functionalities for these applications. So what I'm doing here, I can check how things are rendered. So if you are using low graphics CPU, GPUs, it is impossible to create such picture, even if I put 30,000 or more rendering in this picture. So I can make it bigger and wait some time because it is streaming now. But if you run this application on your PC and see it through streaming from Azure, it will be quicker. So what I can do here, I can also check some future mark tests. I can run some applications and make some visualization of rendering. So how it works, what it is doing. So it's possibility to run and check how this Microsoft solution working. So this is stress test. So you can also do it. Also, there's lots of other test units you can utilize and check. Another thing is to utilize is AutoCAD. AutoCAD is used around the world. Every customer is doing something with it, so you can just install it in the cloud and use your knowings. You can build some projects and do some stuff. I'm not an AutoCAD fan. I just know some stuff, just how to create some rings and write the right utilize Azure GPUs. So this is also the possibility to utilize this GPU machine. So what else? Also, we can use possibility to run graphic designers Adobe solutions. It's also possible to do that. So if you want to know about this stuff, if it's interesting for you, please ask me or please ask your local Latvian, Lithuanian TVG colleague about this. About pricing, so there is some Microsoft Azure page where you can just choose GPUs, and there is pricing per machine, per hour, and if you like reserving for 1 year, if you are using spot savings, you can see the difference of the machines, how much it costs here and here. So I'm using NC6 and NV6 machine. NC type machines are for AI and high calculations, and NV machines are for visualization and graphics. So that is a difference. So you can calculate by yourself what is the pricing. You don't need to utilize this machine from the 24 hours perspective. You can just calculate how much time is a particular ArchiCAD consumer is using, let's say 8 to 10 hours, and calculate the price for this solution for this customer. There is also promos, so you can have an additional discount if you utilize those promotional machines. And you can run in AMD or NVIDIA. You can choose by yourself what you want to use and utilize, what is better for you. So that's information from my side. If you need to have more information what it is and how to use it, please give me your like or some question or something in the chat. Hello? Okay, so Andrius, from my side, it is all what I wanted to say. If you have any questions, please send it out.
Yeah. Let's say we're still saved a couple of minutes, so we're waiting for your questions. If you have no questions, then thank you for joining, and just feel free to contact anyone from TVG. We will be more than happy to help you, to show you, to lead you through the demo, and yeah, we are here to help you. So thank you once more. I'm stopping the recording, and we're still here to answer your questions.